Spectre 6000 flow test supplemental. We've got the 40 CFM flow meter installed now, replacing the previous rotometer, which was limited to 20 CFM. So we should now be able to measure some additional flow. But I wanted to take a little intermission from pressure drop testing to just run a couple air tools on this rig and see what the actual instantaneous flow demand is for some pretty conventional air tools. I think maybe people are discouraged when they buy a die grinder or something that's rated at 4 CFM and they get it home and their 10 CFM compressor can't keep up. And obviously the numbers are, you know, they're adjusted a little bit for working factors. So yeah, we're going to see just kind of what the magnitude is of that. I have 4 different air tools here. I have a straight die grinder, right angle die grinder, an air band file, and a needle scaler. These are very conventional tools. They're used, regardless of brand, they're rebranded by several companies, so they should be, there's a lot of them out there. They're probably very, very common. So we'll start, oh, by the way, I've already adjusted the rig to run about an average of 90 CFM dynamic pressure, so 90 PSI at the tool. That's, you know, each one obviously pulls a little more air, so it's just kind of a working average. And, you know, downstream, I do have all these hooked up with a quick coupler at the end of a very short, like 3-foot, half-inch hose. So while we do now technically have 2 couplers and plugs in the system, we've only got 3 foot of hose, and under normal circumstances, you know, we'd be using 25 feet or 50 feet of hose on a reel. So I think it's a fair trade for me to be able to quickly swap the tools in and out. So here we'll start off with the needle scaler, and I'm going to zoom in on the flow meter just so we can see. There we go. Focus on that. Okay, test number 1, needle scaler. So that's 19 CFM, and by the way, that particular needle scaler is advertised as consuming 3 CFM. So there you go. That's a pretty sizable difference. Now we'll look at right angle, very conventional, very common right angle die grinder. (23-ish) CFM, and that die grinder is rated on the box at 4 CFM. So here's a straight die grinder, also rated at 4 CFM. So that's up around 27 CFM. And then last, we've got an air band file. It's an 18-inch, half-inch wide by 18-inch air band file, also rated at 4 CFM. So what is that, 28.5, 29 CFM? So again, there's some different variables here. They all have an assortment of plugs, although the plugs are fairly standard bore. But that's just to kind of show you the magnitude of what we're talking about. It looks like based on that, the next test we should do should be right about 30 CFM, which makes sense. We've tested at 10, we've tested at 20, so we'll jump up to 30.